to go up.
That's interesting. That was not what I thought at all.
Oh,
But I had no idea, so.
like fancy, but I mean, that's pretty much what it is. It usually has scent.
Well,
I see us ascending the same way.
I do too. Well,
Do you
I
know that
think,
you're born with a particular odor and
oh, yes.
you have that odor the rest of your life? And it is, you know, like I kept some of my mother's clothes for the longest time after she passed because I could smell her. And we all have that scent. We don't smell it on ourselves, but it's there. And I think other people pick up on it very easily. And I think it's important. I think it's important to know that.
Well, I think it is too because it affects, I believe it affects how people react to you, kind of like, me with the patchouli. There's some
Yes.
things that are just not going to be a blend with
Well,
me.
yes.
And I think that humans having their smells do that too. And I think that, like with my grandchildren, you, I think that maybe the essence of you follows
Mm.
your genetics.
Yes. Hmm.
And so I think that's why our children and our grandchildren is such an immediate bonding.
Yeah, babies smell so good.
Yes, they do.
They do. And I'm thinking, when we leave in this world, we're going to smell good like that again.
We won't have the world on us.
Yeah.
So we won't be of this world any longer. Do you think you were talking about like when our spirits ascend, like the volatile oils? Do you think that that's it? Because you've traveled, you've done different experiences and been exposed to a great deal. Do you feel that the essence of us moves on and continues on, or do you feel that we ascend and we kind of that's it as far as the human experience goes?
Oh, no. No. I Maybe I'm just old fashioned or something, but no, I never got that. I think I truly, people that I've known, um, and not just like my mother, but friends and that, they come back and tell me all kinds of stuff about what they're doing. And, I meet their friends. I don't think I'm making all this up. Sometimes I think, yeah, Judy, that's got to be what it is, but they've given me information and it worked. So something's there. We're still there. The essences of us are there. And what people call the light body or the auric body, it includes scent. So I think we're definitely that.
I was just curious because you have been exposed to so many different cultures through your work. And what you do is more spiritual than physical.
It's the thought that we are eternal is very it's very widespread. I'd say probably universally in different cultures. I don't know any culture that may be because it's a religious type experience or something, but that they believe that this is it.
Right. Well, I am just, you none of us know. Even those who have had the near death experiences,
Yes.
you know, they didn't finish that trip, so they don't really know. But it's just something that makes me go, just like the fact that we're up on our first break of this hour. So we will be back in 3, guys.
You are listening to WPHM Digital Broadcasting. The best in paranormal talk radio.
Welcome back to Fate Radio. I am Kat Hobson, your host, with my guest Judy Griffin. And I'm going to tell you that we have been having just the most wonderful conversations. And I just can't tell you the similarities that I'm experiencing in this conversation with her. When we go to break, it's just like even more fascinating. One of our hosts last week was talking about how during the breaks is when there's so much information shared because it's camaraderie that's developing, and that seems to be happening here too, and I'm appreciative of that. But the fact that in our conversation, an author who is my very favorite author when I was young came up in the conversation.
Interesting.
I tell you what, karma is a trip sometimes. And it's just pretty okay. You know, I love that. But we were talking about people who are trying to document with a loved one, you know, communicating back to a loved one somehow that life goes on after you pass. And it's just amazing. I didn't know that about Taylor Caldwell. I knew it about Whitley Strieber, but I had no idea at all.
Well, the way the spouse, whoever, if it was her or him, I don't remember, but the way they did it, they had this one plant, and it was supposed to be this gorgeous blooming plant, and it never bloomed for them. And the reason I thought about it is you and your your green thumb, except for the roses, you could appreciate that, right?
Absolutely.
And so one looks out, I think it was her, she looked out in her gardens, and this plant was just in full bloom. It was gorgeous, and I mean, they'd had it for like 15 or 20 years, never bloomed. So she knew that was the sign. And the way that people get in touch with us isn't always in a conversation, but through something that seems magical.
Right.
Definitely dramatic.
Well, it is. You know, I asked my dad if he would let me know that he was okay after he passed, because we had the opportunity to have that conversation prior to his death. And he did. This was a moth, which sounds crazy. But, it's just fascinating.
I had an aunt. She was my last one to go, and she was in her 90s and had dementia because, I mean, she really was afraid of dying. She was afraid there was nothing left. And so her daughter, she had all girls, and they said, "Ma, we want you to get in touch with us if you're in heaven," is how they said it. And after at her burial, there was a double rainbow, and none of them had ever seen a double rainbow. In fact, nobody there had ever seen anything like it. So that was another beautiful story.
Well, I've never seen a double rainbow.
Well, I did then.
I think that would be so. Did it just move you beyond belief?
Oh, I mean, you just tingled for 3 feet out, you know. You just tingled all over. One time my mother visited me, and that happened. And I was just sitting, waiting to do something, and I went into a trance, and it just started tingling all over, and it seemed like I waited a long time. And then she appeared, and she was just right there. She was in my aura, okay? and we were hugging and that. And of course, I had to laugh afterwards when I came out of it, because the reason it probably took my mom so long to come back is because, or I was waiting a long time for that moment. Didn't know what was going to happen. It turned out to be my mom, but she looked great. And my mom was always one, well, you don't always feel good, but you can look your best, right? Well, she did. And she looked like, when she was probably in her 20s or something, she always thought she looked better then. She didn't have any lines or wrinkles or anything like that. So it was kind of fun. I thought, well, that would be a good thing in afterlife experience, if you could make yourself into who you liked about, or what you liked about yourself the most in this life.
I think that's actually the case. I am a paranormal investigator, as well as doing the radio shows. And I've always thought that people got to choose how they present.
I believe that.
So, like your mother being, her younger, beautiful self, I'm sure you thought that her older self was beautiful too, but she liked the younger her.
Yes,
so,
yes. Yeah. She aged, and she was 84 when she chose to leave. She just quit eating and drinking. She said, it's time. And the old peasant people were like that.
Mm-hmm.
They knew when it was time, like an animal. And she just quit drinking and eating, and she left. But she looked great then. She looked great at 84.
Yeah.
She lied about her age her whole life. What time?
One of my grandmothers did too.
And she'd always laugh and say, oh, I'm 29, And my oldest brother sent her a birthday card, and she was like in her mid-70s, with 29 $1 bills. And she looked inside, and she's looking at these dollars, and he wrote in there, if you hadn't lied about your age so much, you would have got more money.
Well, that's funny.
Yeah, that really, the look on her face was classic. Oh, gosh.
Say, I'm just giving you what you say you are.
Yeah.
That's a hoot.